Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to talk about how to build beautiful, responsive designs in Figma that, well, just don't break. We're going to cover the two superpowers that will totally change the way you design. Have you ever been here? I mean, we've all been here. You design something that is pixel perfect on your desktop canvas. It looks amazing. But the second you resize that frame to see how it looks on a phone, everything just falls apart. Elements are overlapping, the spacing goes haywire, it's a total mess. It is so frustrating, and it's a super common problem. But the solution? It's already built right into Figma, just waiting for you to unlock it. So today, we're diving deep into the two most powerful features that solve this exact problem: constraints and auto layout. You see, the issue really starts when we treat our designs like they're static images. Because in the real world, our users are seeing our work on a million different screen sizes. And manually creating a version for every single one, that's not just inefficient, it's a nightmare to maintain. We need our designs to be intelligent and flexible right from the get-go. So let's start with the foundation: constraints. This is our first and maybe most fundamental tool for creating flexible designs. Think of it as telling individual objects exactly how to behave when their container, their parent frame, changes size. So here's the key idea. Constraints are basically a set of rules that anchor an object to its parent frame. You're literally telling an element, hey, I want you to stay exactly this far from the top, or you need to always stick to the right edge no matter what. And here's why things often break. By default, Figma pins every new object you create to the top and to the left. This means if you resize the frame from the bottom or the right, that object just stays put, always keeping its distance from that top left corner. And that's why things can look so janky when the screen shrinks. But this is where we take control. Instead of just sticking with the default top and left, we can pin an object to left and right. And this tells Figma to stretch the object as the frame resizes. Or we can set it to scale, which is really cool. It makes the object grow or shrink proportionally right along with its parent. All right, so let's build on that, because constraints are absolutely fantastic for single objects inside a frame. But what about groups of elements? Think about buttons with text and an icon, or a whole list of items. Well, that's where the real magic happens. Let's talk about auto layout. Auto layout is a complete game changer. Instead of manually pushing pixels around to adjust spacing every time you change a word of text, auto layout wraps your items in this smart frame that handles all the spacing, all the padding, and all the alignment for you. It's like putting your entire layout on autopilot. And you know what? Getting started is so simple. You just select a group of items, could be text, shapes, anything, and hit the keyboard shortcut Shift+A. Bam! That's it. Figma instantly wraps them up in a smart auto layout frame. So once you've applied auto layout, you get these two main distribution modes. Packed is pretty straightforward. It lets you define the exact spacing between items, like say 8 pixels. But space between is amazing for things like navigation bars, where it automatically pushes the elements apart to fill all the available space. Okay, now listen up, because this is the single most important concept to master. Inside an auto layout frame, every single item has a resizing rule. Fixed is easy. It never changes size. Perfect for an icon. Hug contents is the logic behind every perfect button. It means the frame grows or shrinks to wrap snugly around whatever's inside. You change the text, the button resizes with it automatically. It's awesome. And fill container, well, that's for elements that need to be greedy. It tells them to stretch and take up all the available space. Seriously, truly understanding how these three settings, fixed, hug, and fill, all interact with each other is the absolute key. Once this clicks, you'll be able to build pretty much any responsive component you can dream up, just by nesting auto layout frames inside of each other. Okay, so you've built your perfect, beautifully structured auto layout component. Everything's flowing just right. But what happens when you need one element to just break the rules, to sit on top of everything else? A classic example of this is a little notification badge or a close icon. You want it to sit nicely in the top right corner of a card, but auto layout keeps forcing it to stay in line with the title and the description, which just looks wrong and creates all this weird, unwanted space. This is where absolute position becomes your secret weapon. It allows you to select one specific item inside an auto layout frame and basically say, hey, you, ignore all the rules. It just pulls that element completely out of the automated flow. And here's where it all comes full circle. The moment you enable absolute position on an item, guess what comes back? The constraints panel reappears just for that item. So now you can use the skills we learned at the very beginning to pin that badge exactly where you need it, while the rest of the card stays perfectly responsive with auto layout. It's brilliant. Okay, I know that was a lot, but you've totally got this. Let's do a quick recap of how all these powerful building blocks fit together to make your design smarter and, honestly, your whole workflow way faster. So think of it like this, a simple workflow. You start with constraints for basic positioning. Then you level up to auto layout for groups and components. You absolutely master the fixed, hug, and fill resizing modes. And then finally, when you need that one exception to the rule, you pull out your secret weapon, absolute position. You now have all the fundamental tools to stop fighting with resizing. For real, you can start building flexible, professional, and truly responsive designs right from the beginning. So the only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build first? Go create.